Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamilitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Aguruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantam Manupeta Abeta Krityam Rapaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tan Maitaya Taravo Binedus Tam Savabhutam Hridayam Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Bhaktya Vihina Parara Lakshai Kliptashchaka Mari Tarangamadye Kripa Maitam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavevasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we begin, as always, by offering our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus, unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanitadita Bhavishta Om Vishnu Padasta Tarasat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru Pada Padmanitadita Bhavishta Om Vishnu Padasta Tarasat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and unto our exalted Rupanuga Guru Varga, all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, yesterday we heard about Vatsalya Rasa. Very beautiful. The different divisions of sakas, different kinds. Some are a little older than Krishna, some are a little younger. Older ones, some often have a little bit of mixture, a little mood of Vatsalya, Bhav. The younger ones have a little bit of Dasya in them. And then there are different kinds of personalities. Some are sober and serving Krishna like ministers. Some are frivolous and comical, right? And some are very simple-hearted and serve Krishna with great simplicity. Beautiful, beautiful descriptions. But one thing we heard in the end was that one unique speciality of this Vatsalya Rasa is that Krishna and his sakas, they share the same emotions. They are experiencing the same kind of emotion in their reciprocation. In Dasya, of course, that's not there. There's a little difference. And, of course, in Vatsalya also, right? One's parental, and we'll find out about that today. And there's also, we're going to find out a speciality of Vatsalya. This is very, very intriguing. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in this sixth stream of the seventh rainfall, Vatsalya Bhakti Rasa. When Vatsalya is nourished by the ingredients of ras, such as vibhav, etc., then scholars call the subsequent sthayi bhav Vatsalya Bhakti Rasa. Krishna and his superiors are the alambana of this rasa. Yes, so Krishna being the object, the Vishaya, his superiors, being the reservoir of that special kind of love. Right? So, what about the Vibhav, the Vibhav? Sri Krishna is he who is very beautiful, whose limbs are dark in complexion, and who is endowed with all auspicious symptoms and qualities. He has a very soft nature. He speaks sweetly. He is simple, shy, and modest. He gives respect to his worshipful elders, and he possesses all good characteristics such as generosity. He is the Vishaya, the object of this ras, in the form of a son. He is without the powerful reputation of being known as the Supreme Lord, and thus he is the recipient of the care and maintenance of his superiors. So when you read these qualities, these are the qualities of the perfect son, yeah? Just every time they look at him, every time they talk about him, every time they think about him, all these qualities are manifest, right? Soft nature, sweetly speaking, simple, shy, modest. Who would not want to embrace and hug such a son, right? Smell his head, offer sweet words. He's generous. He gives respect to all of his elders, right? And no one considers him the Supreme Lord. Remember that story that shortly after Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, the cowherd boys came to Nanda Maharaj and were a little bit thoughtful, a little bit sober, and began to suggest that Krishna was not just the son of Nanda Maharaj, that he was much more. Perhaps he's God himself, because look what he's done. And if not God, some incredibly powerful demigod. And Nanda Maharaj should not treat him like a son, shouldn't chastise him, punish him, speak harshly, whatever it might be, right, that a parent has to do time to time. And Nanda Maharaj just laughs in their faces. This suggestion that his son might be God himself. He said that, how can you say that? You've known Krishna since he was born. And you see all these qualities. He gets hungry, he cries, he lies, he steals. He does so many things. And they talk about all these activities that Krishna does that are not of the characteristic of Lord Narayan at all, because in Braj, Lord Narayan is their worshipable deity, right? Four-armed Lord Narayan, the master of Vaikuntha. This is who they see as God. Even though they're there in the presence of the source of all other incarnations and forms of the Lord, they can't recognize it. And he says, it's been said that cowherd men are not very wise. In fact, they don't even lose their milk teeth. In other words, they don't get any wisdom until they're at least 80 years old, and now I can see it. And as he describes Krishna in all these ordinary ways, then they all begin to laugh and say, yes, you're right, what were we thinking? And Jagannath Mishra had a similar experience. After chastising his son Nimai, he had a visitation in a dream, Sapna Darshan, one night. And a great personality came to him and suggested that he should not punish his son like that. His son was a magnificent personality. And in that conversation, Jagannath Mishra rebukes or refutes the statements of this person. He says, he's my son. It's my duty. This mood of Vatsalya is so strong. My duty to correct him, to assure his proper behavior. You could say he's God, even if he were God himself. He's my son, and I will do what's right by him. So in other words, even if the idea that he's God is there, it's completely covered by this mood of parental affection. This is how this Vatsalya is there. As he said, he is without the powerful reputation of being known as the Supreme Lord, and thus he is the recipient of the care and maintenance of his superiors. They are known as Krishna's parents, superiors, because that's the friends of his parents, right? It takes a village to raise a child. All the relatives, they call them like uncle or auntie, all the neighbors, right? They all have a hand in raising each other's children because they have love for them all. They're well-wishers and caretakers. They are known as Krishna's parents and superiors because they consider themselves to be senior to Krishna impart instructions to him, and maintain and protect him. They are the ashraya, alambana of this ras. In other words, the shelter, the reservoir, the containers of this mood of parental affection. The queen of Braj, Sri Jashoda, the king of Braj, Nanda Maharaj, Rohini, the wives of the cowherd men whose children were stolen by Lord Brahma, Devaki and her co-wives, Kunti, Vasudev, Sandipani Muni, and many others are Krishna's superiors. Sandipani Muni, he's Krishna's teacher, right? Where was that? Avanti? I can't remember where he's from. Anyway, he is the teacher of Krishna in that pastime. He is the, let's see, the son of Purnamasi. I believe the father of Madhu Mangal, right? When Purnamasi comes to Braj, she had that relationship. I believe he's the son of Purnamasi, or maybe anyway, forgive me. I digress. I shouldn't speak unless I know. So Kunti also has this mood because she's the mother of Krishna's friends, Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bhimasen, right? Devaki, Vasudeva, even though they are in Mathura, Dwarka, their parents, they have a different conception. Of course, their conception of parental affection is somewhat obscured or crippled because they know Krishna as God. And so they can't have the same complete mood of affection that Mother Jashoda and Nanda Baba have. In fact, Devaki never even had a chance to nurse her son, right? He had to leave the prison as soon as he was born. And he only came at an older age when Akrura brought him. And then they did the samskars to initiate him as a Kshatriya and all like that. But she never had that same affection. Neither did Vasudeva. The interesting thing about their Vatsalya is that even though they saw him, he was born, showed himself as God, told them how he had appeared in 2 other lifetimes for them, still, Vatsalya is so powerful that they were still afraid for him from Kamsa and requested that he make some arrangement to protect himself because Kamsa had already killed their previous children. 6 children and then 1 miscarriage, Lord Baladev being transferred to the womb of Rohini. So, they're all Krishna's superiors, Guru Jana. The superiority of their prem follows the same sequence as written here, with the queen and king of Braj being the most prominent. The stimuli, the udipan of Vatsalya Rasa are Krishna's childhood age, his form, his cloth, his childhood restlessness, his sweet words, his mild smile, and his play. The Kaumara age is divided into 3 parts. The beginning, Adya, middle, Madhya, and end, Shesh. In the beginning of his infancy, he moves his legs in the air while lying down. And sometimes he cries at one moment and then laughs at the next. He sucks his toes while lying on his back and other such activities. At this age, he wears a locket made of tiger nails, protective tilak, eyeliner, and black thread around his waist and wrist as ornaments. All these things to protect him from inauspicious elements, envious ghosts, right? Even they put a black spot here or there on the face to make him look less attractive, right? It's what they do in India. And of course, the protective tilak on the parts of the body. And even though he's of that age and appears to be helpless, able to just kick his legs. Remember the pastime when he's placed under the large cart during the festivities in Braj, and the demon Shakata Asura came to crush him. This disembodied demon entered into the cart and caused it to become very heavy and pressed down. He wanted to crush the baby. Krishna, seeing this, playfully kicking his legs, just the toe of, the tip of his toe touching the cart, upheaves it, throws it into the air, breaks it into pieces. All the heavy, huge pots and pans that were on top of the cart, scattered everywhere. The little children that were around and saw this, a little bit older than Krishna, when they were asked by Nanda Maharaj and others what happened, they tried to describe this in broken language, and the elders, they couldn't believe it. What? This little boy's toe could do that? He's just a little tiny baby. He's not even turning over yet. But even though he's in that tiny little form, he has the full-fledged potency of the Lord. But he performs these activities, even the killing of demons, in a very sweet way. Very sweet. And that demon was most fortunate because he was killed by the touch of the toe of the lotus foot of the Lord. So he doesn't really need protection, but his parents they have that mood, we have to protect our little child. And they do everything like you would do with a normal child. And Krishna relishes that mood of love, their mood of protection and maintenance and concern. This is their exchange, and he tastes that kind of love. Right? In the middle of his infancy, he has hair that grows down to his eyes and covers his ears. He is naked. He has sweet, childish speech, and he crawls upon his hands and knees. Krishna has a pearl on the tip of his nose. He is holding butter in his hand, and he wears small bells around his waist. So now he can crawl around, right? Walk a little bit here and there, holding that butter in his hand, maybe in his right hand, maybe in his left hand. At the end of his Komara period, that would be around 4.5, close to 5, right? His waist is somewhat thinner. His chest is broad, and his head is full of black curly hair. He herds the calves in the nearby woods and plays with his friends. He plays on his small flute and enjoys blowing his buffalo horn. In the Gopal Champa, this is described that at around the age of 5, Krishna is becoming very restless. He had gone out with his father on occasion herding cows, but now he wants to do it himself. And his father's very agreeable. Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda not. And they discuss it back and forth. Finally, she relents because Krishna's so demanding, but not the cows, just the baby calves. And not very far, just in the nearby pasture, the adjacent pastures. But they have a ceremony, and then he begins his cow herding pastimes. Right? Very sweet. He and his young friends, and they're so proud, they're all dressed up, has his buffalo horn, has his flute in his waist belt, has a rope around his waist, right, for tying cows to trees, another rope on his turban for tying the legs together if they have to be milked. He has all the ornaments of a full-fledged cowherd boy. And very happy, very proud. And off they go. And it also gives them facility now for entering into another level of pastimes with his cowherd boyfriends. Right? This Vatsalya Rasa becomes more strong because now we're going to the forest. Now we're playing independent. Our parents aren't around. Right? But they are, and they're watching nearby, and they're sending lunch, and they're, still concerned. So the anubhavs of Vatsalya Rasa include, so this is what you do. These are your expressions. Your internal sentiments are there, your sattvika bhavs, and now how do you express that love? How is it being expressed? smelling his head, massaging his body using hands, blessing him and commanding him, caring for him by such acts as bathing and protecting him and giving him good advice. Common activities found in this ras are kissing him, embracing him, calling his name again and again, putting him to rest, and chastising him along with his friends. Are you eating dirt? They're telling me you're eating dirt. No, I've not eaten dirt. Show me your mouth, right? And other pastimes as well. Look at you. I just put you in fresh clothing. And now what are you doing? You've been playing with the calves. You're all muddy again. Oh. So, kissing him, putting him to rest, chastising him, in addition to the 8 sattvika bhavs, such as becoming stunned, etc., one more is present, in which milk flows from the breast, thus making 9 sattvika bhavs in Vatsalya Rasa. Wow, that's a speciality, huh? Vatsalya Rasa, that's from the mother's side. Obviously, Nanda Maharaj is not having milk come from his breast, but Mother Jashoda. And the love of Mother Jashoda, Nanda Maharaj, it's quite extraordinary. And I know the one Srila Bhaktivinoda Narayan Goswami Maharaj is talking about Mother Jashoda in this Bhakti Rasayan, commentary on different verses selected by Sri Sanatana Goswami about Krishna Lila in Braj. Some of the verses are about Vatsalya, and in his commentary, Srila Narayan Maharaj says, when we try to understand the magnitude, the glory of this Vatsalya Rasa, we become fearful. It is so high, practically incomprehensible. I mean, even in this world, the love of a mother for a child, it's so powerful, right? It practically can't be broken no matter what. Mother will, and even animals, right? Like the grizzly bear, right? The mama bear. Even if a male grizzly, huge, powerful bear, tries to harm her children, she'll fight it. In the lion species, the same thing. There's nothing more fierce than the protective mood of a mother for the child. So, milk flowing from the breast. Remember that, a special, extra sattvika bhav. The vyabhichari bhavs are the same as for Priti Bhakti Ras, Sakya, apart from one extra, which is apasmara, fainting, forgetfulness, dementedness, or a convulsive state. We know at least 2 times when we saw Mother Jashoda like that. Actually more. But when Krishna was in the grips of the vicious serpent Kaliya, Mother Jashoda on the bank of Kaliya Hrid, Jamuna, fainted. Right? Fainted. When Krishna was scooped up by the whirlwind demon, Trinavarta, Mother Jashoda running everywhere, blinded by the wind and the dust, crying out like a mother cow for her lost calf, completely bewildered and not, it's almost like her life airs had left her, right? You could call it like forgetfulness, demented, just so distressed by that sense of loss and danger and fear. Where is my son? So, milk from the breast, sattvika bhav, and special vyabhichari bhav, fainting, forgetfulness, dementedness, convulsive state, right? These are different ways to describe that condition. So now we're going to hear about the sthayi bhav. The sthayi bhav is called Vatsalya when the rati of Krishna's elders and superiors is composed of feelings of compassion, devoid of any fear. The Vatsalya rati of Jashoda and others is very mature, Sometimes it reaches the level of prema, sometimes the level of sneha, and sometimes rag. So, devoid of fear, there's a verse here. Let's see, what does Srila Rupa Goswami say? When he says fear, he says, rati, without reverence, that lovingly compassionate superiors show towards someone. It's the sthayi bhav called Vatsalya. The Vatsalya rati of Jashoda and others is by nature very deep. Sometimes it is on the level of prema, sometimes on the level of sneha, and sometimes on the level of rag. So, without fear means without reverence. You remember, again, in the prison house of Kamsa, when Krishna appeared, Vasudeva, Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, they had some reverence towards him, and they offered prayers filled with knowledge of his Bhagavata, right? And that's what it means. And so they would be somewhat inhibited by what they can do and what they can't do. They had deep love. He was their son, but he's also God. So there's a little difference there. It's not fully blossomed Vatsalya, as it says in Caitanya Charitamrita. It's a little crippled. So here it's talking about this level of prema comes up to rag, even though at the time of separation there is the possibility of many different vyabhichari bhavs manifesting. Still, the prominently seen ones are chinta, anxiety, vishada, lamentation, nirved, indifference. That means indifference to all things around. The pots are overturned, no cooking. Who will Mother Jashoda cook for? No, not going out into the fields. Nobody. The cows, the calves, the bees are lying on the ground. In Vrindavan, where Krishna leaves, indifference to all ordinary affairs. But especially, even Nanda and Jashoda, they won't even leave the house. Because everywhere they go, they're reminded of Krishna. No household affairs, cobwebs, dust, everywhere. Jadya, inertness, like stunned, right? Dainya, humility. Chapalya, restlessness. Unmad, madness. And moha, illusion. This ras, in which the sthayi bhav is parental affection, and the object of affection is Krishna, is so astonishing that learned men have designated this ras as the chief ras. How interesting. Yes, many people consider Vatsalya to be the highest expression, because in this world, Vatsalya Rasa, it's very difficult. You don't generally see a love stronger than that, even between husband and wife. That same selfless dedication of a mother to a child is not seen, right, in this world. And so that's why learned people who study Ras without full realization, they consider it the topmost. And yet it is extraordinary. This kind of madness. Remember when Krishna had been gone for some time, one day Mother Jashoda was looking at the house, and Krishna's toys were scattered around the floor from when he had been a child. Little toy calf, a small flute, things like this. And she gathered them all up and wrapped them in a cloth. And then, even though it was the heat of the day, she went out and began walking towards Mathura in a state of practical unconsciousness, but walking. And her friends, "Oh, Saki, where are you going?" "Mother, what are you doing?" "It's so hot outside, you shouldn't be out." "I'm going to Mathura." "Why will you go to Mathura?" "I'm going to Mathura and I'm going to see Queen Devaki, and I'm going to offer my service to her. I will tell her, Krishna's not my son, Krishna's your son. I simply want to cook for you, to clean your house. I want to serve you. You are his mother. I want to serve you, and just time to time be able to glance on your beautiful son. And they said, but it's so far and it's so hot, you can't do this. But she was completely mad, and then she fainted, and then they took her back. Well, what about the superiority of Vatsalya Rasa? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, where an affectionate response from Krishna is not apparent, then Prita Rasa, Dasya Rasa is weakened. And Preo, Bhakti Rasa, Sakya Rasa disappears. Right? When Krishna won't reciprocate, sometimes the cowherd boys will chastise him and ignore him. Right? Oh, you're not one of us. Go away. Now, of course, this is a transformation of prema, but it appears like that, right? It appears like that if there's no reciprocation. However, Vatsalya Rasa is not disturbed in this condition. This is the superiority of Vatsalya Rasa, because even if a child neglects the parent can never neglect the child. Even in this world, even a son may be a murderer, and the mother's love will never diminish. She may feel bad and distressed that he's done such a thing, but in her heart, he's just her baby, that same one she nursed and raised from childhood. Her love is there to the very end. So whereas it may be weakened in Dasya Rasa, lack of reciprocation, or even disappear in Sakya Rasa, it's not even slightly diminished in Vatsalya. These three rasas are most astonishing. And in some places, they mix together in one personality. The friendship, Sakya Rasa, of Baladev is mixed with feelings of paternity, Vatsalya Rasa. The parental feelings of Yudhishthira are mixed with feelings of friendship and servitude. The Dasya Rasa of King Ugrasen is mixed with feelings of parental affection. The parental affection of the elderly Ahiras is mixed with feelings of friendship. The friendship of Nakula, Sahadeva, and others, such as Narad, is mixed with feelings of servitude. The servants, such as Shiva, Garuda, and others, such as Uddhav, also have feelings of friendship mixed together with the mood of servitude. The love of Aniruddha and other grandsons of Krishna is also mixed with the rasa of friendship. Thus, many devotees are also seen to have mixed states or combinations of devotion. Even though the devotees of Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, and Vatsalya Rasa all consider their own rasa to be supreme, still, it will be shown that Madhura Rasa is the best. And these other three rasas work as its assistants. So this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur clearly stating that principle, that ultimately all the rasas in Vrindavan are meant to serve the ultimate rasa, Madhura, the greatest pleasure, of Krishna with his beloved Radhika. And actually all the different devotees, all the beautiful Brajadevis in Madhura Rasa, they're all ultimately serving Krishna's relationship with Srimati Radhika. Right? And somewhere in all of this, we have a role, some place to be. Right? And hearing about all these different rasas, we can certainly appreciate them. And remember that they're competing in one sense, but they're cooperating. The real vision is cooperation. And Mother Jashoda has so much affection for Srimati Radhika and her friends. Right? Described that when they come, she'll take her forehead and take their beautiful little faces, hold their cheeks in her in her hands like this and press her own forehead to theirs and express such sweet statements of love to these beautiful little girls, And she'll give them gifts. Remember that beautiful pastime of the box of gifts that Mother Yashoda is preparing for Srimati Radhika to be sent to the house of Kirtida and Vrishabhanu Maharaj. And Krishna is saying, who is this for? Is this for me? No, not for you. I have another box for you and one for Baladev as well. But this is for another. Oh, who is it for? Oh, it's for this very special girl, the daughter of my most dear friends, Kirtida and Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Oh, and Krishna hearing that, by the functions of Yogamaya, Mother Yashoda, remember, Krishna's young at this age. She doesn't realize the depth of Krishna's relationship with Radhika. He knows that since they were little babies, they would play together, but has no knowledge of this Madhurya Rasa, of Rasa Leela, of any of these exchanges, right? If they're getting together, they're just like playing like little children in the dirt together, But Krishna, hearing the name of Radha from Jashoda's lips, who is this girl? Oh, her name is Radha. She's the daughter of my dear friend Kirtida. Krishna's hair stand on end. He has to put his shawl over his arm to hide that. And he questions, and Mother Yashoda praises her so much, saying that, oh, this girl, if you took all the qualities that are considered feminine, which may make a girl beautiful, these qualities themselves take their beauty and take shelter of this special girl, this Srimati Radhika. And she is the source and the origin of all good qualities. And so she has so much in fact, she wanted Krishna to be married to Radhika, right? And all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, everybody loves Radhika. How could they not, right? As they all love Krishna, they all love Srimati Radhika. Because just like we're hearing about Krishna's qualities, charming, humble, sweet words, all these things, Radhika is the embodiment of complete feminine qualities and beauty. And so everything is ultimately serving. And yet, we're finding the speciality and the glory of these other moods, and we are offering our obeisance, our service. As Srila Gurudev said, when we think of the love of Mother Yashoda, we practically faint. How could we possibly comprehend it? Right? How could we comprehend it? So that is the statements about Vatsalya. I want to stop there for this. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gaura Bhaktivinoda, our Guru Parampara, right? Ki jai. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Shri Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes. How do you do? There you go. Okay. Stop that there.